everyone, I'm Lily. I'm 7. Today I'm going to read a story. Today's story is Cave Needs a Home. The life of a hermit crab isn't so bad. They live near the seashore and they bask in the warm sun. They bask in the The views are great too. Sunrise and sunset can be pretty spectacular, and you can beat the with twinkling stars. But for one hermit crab, life was not so great. Instead, Cave was a hermit crab of spectacular proportion. Imagining that he's the biggest crab on the seashore had its advantage. However, Cave, the advantage was few and far between. One of the biggest problems were being big was just that being big made it easy for hungry goats to spot cavers. They hung like kites in the sea breeze. But there was a bigger problem. Cave could not find a home that was big enough for him. Hermit crab lives as crab grows. It can go out of its shell and into a big one. The trouble is that most snails are not very big. Now, it's not a huge problem for the most normal-sized crab, but if a problem for Cave, it was a problem of great enormity. Cave walked sideways up and down the shore. He searched for a shell big enough to use as his home. He waited and waited, hoping that soon one day a large shell would wash up on shore. While he waited to find a proper home, Cave lived in a large hole in the rock. Now the hole was a fine home for most animals, but it was not proper home for a hermit crab. Whenever Cave wanted to go out, he felt naked. The other hermit crab made fun of him, and the goose swooped down, trying to make him their dinner. Cave always managed to escape the goose, but the teasing from other crabs hurt to the core of his feelings. To hide his nakedness, Cave tried everything. First, he got the feathers he found along the shore and strung them together with old fishing line. Then he wrapped it around his soft shell. But the other crabs thought he looked silly. "Look at Cave now," they said. "He thinks he is a bird. The next thing you know, he will try to fly." Cave's feelings were hurt even more. He threw off the feather and returned to his hole in the rock. Next, he got the seaweed and wove it together to make a fine-looking suit. But soon the seaweed began to rot and smell. The smell was so bad that even Cave could stand it. So he threw away his seaweed suit and returned to his hole in the rock. Peering out of his hole one morning, Cave noticed something strange had washed ashore. He crawled out of the hole to take a closer look. As he got closer, he could see it was a boot, and a very fine boot it was. The boot was brightly blue, which was Kate's favorite color in the world. He had always admired the blue starfish and the tide pools, and he thought that blue crab were the most handsome of all crabs. He had looked for a blue snail shell for a home when he was a smaller crab, but he had never found one. Kate examined the boot more closely. It was made of rubber and would be perfect for stormy days when the cold wind and rain blew off the sea. And on the top of the boot were two large eyes. Aha! Thought Kate. These eyes will surely scare out the swooping gulls. And back of all, the boot was large. Kate looked inside and sized it up. The boot was most definitely big enough for Kate's enormous body. He crawled into the boot. It was perfect fit. Kate strutted down the shore where his new home. The gulls were frightened by the two large eyes looking up at them. All of the other cried ooh and ah as Kate walked by. They were envious of Kate's beautiful new home. Kate was not only the biggest crab on the shore, he was also the most handsome. The next week, Kate had an open house. All the other crabs came to see Kate's home, and they all brought him gifts. Kate was no longer the laughing stock of all the crabs. He was the envy of the seashore. What is Kate's biggest problem? All the shells are too big. B. He is lonely. C. He can't find a big hole. D. The gulls ignore him. I choose C. What is the setting of the story? I. The seashore. B. The ocean. C. A riverbank. D. A lake. I choose A. What is Kate's problem with living in the hole in a rock? A. The rock isn't blue. B. The hole is too small. C. He felt naked outside it. D. He is far from the shore. I choose C. How do you know that this story is fantastic? A. The sweet began to rot and smell. B. Kate wove a seaweed suit. C. Hurried quietly in a snail shell. D. Kate was very large. I choose D. Kate was a hurried crab for a spectacular proportion. Another word for spectacular is A. Length. B. Size. C. Intelligence. D. Color. I choose B. What did Kate try first he could feel naked? A. He lived in a large hole. B. He wore a seaweed suit. C. He went inside a blue boot. D. He wrapped himself in feathers. I choose D. How does Kate change in the story? A. He became more confident. B. He became proud of himself. C. He became happy. D. Of the above. I choose D. Why did Kate strut down the shore wearing his new home? A. He was worried about the gulls. B. He was proud and wanted to show off his new house. C. He felt naked without his shell. D. He was afraid with the other crab with things. I choose A. I choose B. What happened when Kate covered himself with feathers? A. He felt very bad. B. The crab thought he was silly. See, the crab thought he looked really nice. See, he found a good home. I should be. Read this sentence. All the other crabs were envious of Caviar for new home. What does envious mean? I thankful, B jealous, C scared, D proud. I should be.
Whoa! You did it! You passed! Click on the items with the red X and find a better answer to improve your score and earn more stars. Use the book as you take the quiz to help you find the best answer. When finished, click Done.
I got 9 of 10 correct. The end. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.